Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished dignitaries on stage, colleagues, friends, officers of the CII. Thank you for being here. As Mr. Samtani was delivering his opening remarks and showing his forecast on slide number 3, I was sort of recalling that when I was in the industry myself for about 17 years in the financial services world, forecast used to be updated probably once a year or maybe twice a year. But these days, forecasts have to be updated on a real-time basis. Because as he was delivering his forecast, I was also looking at a Bloomberg story citing a colleague of his, Goldman Sachs, somewhere in the US, Ms. Yulia Zetkova-Grigsby, saying that the Hormuz flare-up may delay the recovery in oil supplies coming into the market, which has got a lot of chain reactions and consequences and so on. So therefore, in general, if what this tells all of us, and this is a nice segue into my remarks, if we focus on outcomes, increasingly they are becoming subject to forces beyond our control. So whether we hit a particular landmark within a specified time frame or not is no longer in our control. Therefore, as the Lord told Arjuna, it is better we focus on our efforts and let the outcomes be dictated by forces within our control and beyond our control. So if anything, the current situation in the next 20 years should enable us to re-imbibe the lessons of the great teaching in the Mahabharata war, which is what is in your control is your efforts, and let's focus on that and let the outcomes come as they may. So with that, I will just go on to share my thoughts with you. I'll keep it simple. I agree with the presentations made that India's global capability centers are one of the quiet successes of our economy. They did not arrive with fanfare. There was no single big announcement. They grew slowly, one center at a time and one team at a time. Today, they are impossible to ignore. The numbers tell the story. As we saw earlier, 2 decades ago, we had a handful of back offices. Today, it's more than 2,000 such centers. And they employ more than 2 million professionals. And the estimate is now moving towards 2.3 million. Revenue has crossed $60 billion. And climbing towards 100. They now contribute close to 2% of our GDP, and they do take up a larger share of the new office space built in our cities each year. So on the latest count, India now hosts around half of the world's GCCs. So no other country comes close. This did not happen by accident. It happened because of our people. So let me say a word about the talent, because that is the heart of the matter. These centers first came to India for cost. They stayed for capability. That's an important difference. A cost advantage can be copied by the next low-cost country. A capability advantage is harder to build and harder to lose as well. So over 2 decades, our engineers, analysts, designers, and researchers earned the trust of global boards. They did not simply take instructions, they took ownership, and therefore the work moved up the quality curve. What began as support became engineering, and what began as engineering became product, and what began as a back office became, in many firms, the place where global decisions are now made. The benefit has flowed both ways. That is important to get it very clearly. Global firms got world-class work done at a fair price. Indian professionals got careers they could not have imagined 1 generation earlier. GCC roles today often pay much more than traditional services jobs. They demand deeper skills as well. They keep talent in India that might have once gone abroad. They have opened up opportunities to more women and to more cities, and that's a genuine win-win. We don't need to be shy about saying so. Now let me turn to a question I'm often asked by people. Is the work in these centers really cutting edge? Or is it still at heart a low-cost support dressed up in new language? The honest answer is that it is cutting edge, and increasingly so. Look at what actually happens inside these centers. Global banks run their risk systems and trading platforms in Mumbai and Bengaluru and elsewhere as well. Car makers design their vehicles and embedded systems from Chennai and Pune. Semiconductor firms carry out chip design here, pharmaceutical companies run clinical analytics here, and consumer firms build and own entire digital products here in India. Recently, the German science and technology company Merck opened an integrated campus in Bengaluru that brings some 3,300 people together across data, artificial intelligence, and enterprise technology, and it now holds the company's single largest concentration of digital capability anywhere in the world. India has become Merck's fourth largest workforce hub, behind only Germany, the US, and China. And more than 1,200 of these centers now do serious work in artificial intelligence and machine learning. This last point deserves emphasis. India has become the second largest base of enterprise AI talent in the world. The intellectual property created in these centers is real. The patents are filed here. The products are shipped from here. And global roles are increasingly held by people sitting here. And the number of senior leadership roles based in India is projected to grow perhaps fivefold by 2030. This is no longer the edge of the global economy. In many firms, Indian GCCs have become the core. That brings me to the question that I suspect many of you are asking internally, perhaps quietly. If artificial intelligence can now write code, analyze data, and draft documents, are these centers at risk? Will the machine replace the Indian professional? Is the whole model about to be automated away? I want to answer this directly because it deserves a direct and serious response rather than a comforting one. Part of the old model is indeed exposed. The work that was routine, repetitive, and rule-bound is exactly the work that AI does most easily and most cheaply as well. If a center's value rests only on doing simple tasks at low cost, then the value is under real threat. We should not pretend otherwise. To pretend so would be to fail the very people we are trying to protect. But that is not where India centers mainly are today. And it is certainly not where we are heading either. And that is the most important truth. Artificial intelligence does not build, deploy, or govern itself. Someone has to design these systems. Someone has to train them, test them, correct them, and hold them to account. Someone has to decide where they should be used and where they must not be used. Someone has to carry the responsibility when they fail, and that work is expanding and not shrinking. And a large and growing share of this kind of work is being done in India. AI does not, therefore, empty these centers. In the centers that are run well, the AI raises the value of each person who works there. So the risk is there, but that is not destiny. The centers that stand still will suffer. The centers that move up will thrive. And our task, industry and government together, is to make sure that India stays on the right side of that line. Let me put the point more generally, because I believe it applies beyond these centers. Resilience is not something that a society is handed. It is something that a society builds. A country that treats a powerful technology as fate will end up being shaped by it. A country that treats AI as a tool will shape it instead. India must be in the second group, not passive recipients of what the technology does to us, but active authors of what we do with it. Which brings me to the theme of this session, industry and government collaboration. Let me be honest about what government has done and equally honest about what government cannot do. Government has been listening, my colleagues are here. This year's budget took a very clear step on tax certainty for these centers. The transfer pricing safe harbor has been simplified and widened. The margin is now uniform. The threshold has been raised sharply. Approvals will be faster, more predictable, and over a multi-year horizon. This was a long-standing request from industry, and it has now been addressed. We have also launched a national framework to carry these centers beyond the 6 large cities into Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns across the country. This is not only an economic goal, it is a matter of fairness. The opportunity should not sit in a few metros alone. But let me be candid about the limits of what government alone can do. Government can build the runway, but it cannot fly the plane. The move from cost to capability, from execution to innovation has to be made by firms and by people. Skilling is the clearest case. We produce a very large number of graduates each year. We do not yet produce enough of those who are ready on day one. By some estimates, fewer than half of them are ready for the job on the day they arrive. Closing that gap needs universities, industry, and the government working together, not one after the other, but at the same time. This is where collaboration stops being a slogan and starts being real work. I will add one more caution. Success can breed complacency. The advantage we hold today was built over time, but it can also erode. Other countries are watching us and copying us. Our costs are rising. In some skills, our talent is already scarce. So, indispensability is not a title that India can hold on to forever. It is a position we have to earn and keep earning again and again. The moment we believe we have arrived is the moment others begin to catch up. So let us not celebrate too early. Let us treat this success not as a finishing line, but as a foundation or a milestone. I will close with one thought. The value of these centers does not lie in the machines they use. It lies in the judgment of the people who run these machines. As our tools grow more powerful, that human judgment becomes more important and not less. Our goal should never be to make our people work like machines. Our goal should be to use machines so that our people are freed to do more of what only people can do, to reason, to decide, to take responsibility, and to exercise wisdom. If we keep human beings at the center, then these global capability centers will do more than survive the age of artificial intelligence. They will help to shape it, and India will be the better for it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.